Welcome to this edition of the Designs for Health audio science article.
Understanding MCTs. Like blue-blocking glasses, collagen peptides, barefoot running shoes, and other products some health-minded people can't imagine life without, medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs for short, have spawned an entire industry that didn't exist just a few short years ago. Considering the exploding popularity of these special fats, it's a good idea to take a closer look at what they are, their purported effects, and whether research substantiates the considerable hype around them. When people talk about MCTs, they're usually referring to medium-chain fatty acids. Specifically, medium-chain fatty acids are saturated fatty acids with carbon chains containing between 6 and 12 carbon atoms. A triglyceride is a molecule composed of 3 fatty acids bound to one glycerol molecule. Common nomenclature is a little less precise, however, and most people simply say MCTs when talking about medium-chain fatty acids. Refer to a previous blog article titled Primer on Dietary Fats to better understand the different types of fatty acids. A triglyceride can contain fatty acids of varying chain lengths and degree of saturation. For example, one triglyceride may contain one molecule each of oleic acid, palmitic acid, and arachidonic acid, which have 18, 16, and 20 carbons. Using modern technology, however, single triglyceride molecules can be manufactured that contain only medium-chain fatty acids. Since medium-chain fatty acids can be a mouthful, we'll abide by convention and use MCTs, but for scientific accuracy, it's worth understanding the distinction between a fatty acid and a triglyceride. As we explained in a recent post looking at the role of MCTs in supporting cognitive function, MCTs are metabolized differently than other fats. They don't require emulsification with bile and are absorbed directly into the portal vein rather than via the lymphatic system, and they're hydrolyzed more quickly and more completely than longer-chain fatty acids. They're also more water-soluble than longer-chain fats and exhibit mild electrolyte activity, with ionization at neutral pH, making them even more soluble in biological fluids. Additionally, MCTs can enter mitochondria without using the carnitine transport system, making them a readily usable source of energy. As a general category, MCTs have a lot in common with each other, but their differing carbon chain lengths confer unique properties upon them, which may have implications when using these special fats for therapeutic purposes. The shortest of these, Caproic acid, a 6-carbon molecule, is found mostly in dairy products. Rich sources of the 8 and 10-carbon MCTs, Caprylic acid and Capric acid, include coconut and palm kernel oils. Coconut oil is also very high in lauric acid, which has 12 carbons, as is palm fruit oil, which is different from palm kernel oil. Commercially available MCT oil typically contains solely caprylic acid or a blend of caprylic acid and capric acids. Mostly because caproic acid, the 6-carbon chain, is a very small component of food sources it might be extracted from, whereas caprylic and capric acid are more abundant and may be more effective for certain purposes than lauric acid. Monolaurin, derived from lauric acid, is antimicrobial, antifungal, and antiviral, and is highly effective for supporting the immune system, but it is not ordinarily used in MCT oils, although some products may include it. Interest in MCTs has grown in conjunction with the expanding popularity of ketogenic diets. This is because MCTs are readily converted to ketones even in people not following ketogenic diets, and while carbohydrate restriction is required for some of the beneficial effects seen from ketogenic diets, such as improved blood sugar and insulin levels, for select issues, the ketones themselves may confer a therapeutic effect. Alzheimer's disease is one such condition. Alzheimer's stems from reduced brain glucose usage, and ketones can serve as an alternative neuronal fuel source. For people looking to bridge this brain energy gap, MCT consumption has been shown to lead to elevated plasma ketones and slight but promising improvements in cognitive function in individuals with mild cognitive impairment. Healthy subjects have been used to quantify differences between the ketone-producing effects of caprylic acid and capric acid. Caprylic acid alone was shown to induce the highest plasma ketones for up to 8 hours compared to coconut oil, capric acid alone, and a blend of caprylic acid and capric acid. The blend and capric acid alone raised ketones significantly compared to control conditions, but caprylic acid resulted in substantially higher plasma ketones, about 3 times higher than capric acid alone. So people looking to employ MCTs specifically for the purpose of elevating ketone levels may wish to favor caprylic acid, which again is the 8-carbon chain fatty acid, commonly referred to or abbreviated as C8 MCT. This doesn't mean that capric acid, the 10-carbon chain fatty acid, doesn't have its place though. In a study looking at the effects of caprylic acid and capric acid on energy metabolism in cultured human astrocytes, capric acid promoted glycolysis and increased lactate formation, while caprylic acid did not. Lactate can be exported and used as fuel by neurons, which may be helpful in Alzheimer's and mild cognitive impairments. In contrast, caprylic acid increased astrocyte ketogenesis, and of course, the ketones may be used by neighboring neurons, so both of these MCTs have a potentially helpful role in conditions associated with reduced or perturbed brain glucose metabolism, such as Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. Another condition for which MCTs may be beneficial is Huntington's disease. A very specific MCT, known as heptanoic acid, appears to be instrumental here. Heptanoic acid, or C7, as it has 7 carbons, is unique in that it's an odd-chain fatty acid and is metabolized into 5-carbon ketone bodies, as opposed to caproic acid, caprylic acid, capric acid, and lauric acid, which all have an even number of carbon atoms and are metabolized to 4-carbon ketones, acetoacetate and beta-hydroxybutyrate in particular. Unlike the 4-carbon ketones, as opposed to being oxidized for fuel, 5-carbon ketones are anaplerotic and can provide intermediates for the Krebs cycle. Either way, they can contribute to energy metabolism, which is critical for the many conditions associated with impaired brain or neuronal energy. Heptanoic acid is derived from castor bean oil, and as a medical therapy, it is manufactured as triheptanoin, a triglyceride consisting exclusively of heptanoic acid. Huntington's is associated with brain energy deficit, and triheptanoin has been shown to make up for some of this energy gap. Oral administration of triheptanoin of 1 gram per kilogram of body weight per day, divided in 3 to 4 doses during meals to reduce likelihood for GI upset, for 1 month in patients with early-stage Huntington's disease resulted in an increased brain ATP synthesis and small improvements in the Unified Huntington's Disease Rating Scale. Because they are digested, absorbed, and metabolized so differently from other types of fats and confer an array of unique effects, MCTs may also have a role in decreasing the incidence and duration of major clinical manifestations of disorders of fatty acid oxidation or lipid absorption. This is an exciting area of research with the potential to yield very helpful findings with real-world clinical implications for patients living with complex and difficult-to-treat conditions.
Thanks for listening. For more excellent educational content, be sure to visit designsforhealth.com.